Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. My goodness, I've loved today's weather. It kind of feels spring-ish-y. Definitely not winter, but it definitely feels like spring. So happy spring and happy March. It is our first week, and what lovely weather we are having. And thank you to everyone who tuned in to our earlier interview, hearing all about our hunks, HUNKS, all of our mover guy. That was very entertaining. If you did not catch that, definitely go back to our YouTube and Facebook page to catch that. We have another wonderful interview with us. You have seen this beautiful woman before, but for those of you that haven't seen Kathi Miracle before, this is very fascinating. But before we introduce our guests, I'm with, of course, the amazing Joshua El Presidente. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You?
Good.
I love the weather. It's very cold. I want it to be colder. I want snow to fall, but that's just me.
I'm sorry. You may need to go to the mountains.
Yeah.
Don't think it's in the cards.
Not really.
I'm so glad I put my winter tires on this season.
I know. You've really gotten a lot of use of those.
I have.
Yeah.
I think at least 5 raindrops were benefiting from that.
For all the people listening on K4CORadio.com or the apps, K4CO Radio apps, or through all the internet radio directories we're on, do you know that you can go to the K4CO Radio social media platforms and you can see all of our wonderful shining faces, K4CO here and in the studio, because we have some wonderful guests. And if you do have any questions, comments, anything like that, just go ahead and throw those in the comments section, and then our producer Jacob can alert us to those. So yes, that is it.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're all over the place, and definitely. And you can also message the station if you're listening on the app on your phone as well. We're going to be deep diving into what your brain is really doing and cognitive skills. And I find this absolutely fascinating. Whether you're 6 years old or 102, like my grandma we were just talking about, it is great for kiddos and adults. So, all right, Josh, who do we have with us?
We have some wonderful people. So, of course, Kathi Miracle, owner of LearningRx in Highlands Ranch Brain Training Center. And then we have the Nelsons. We have Will Nelson and Jack Nelson. Jack was actually a student of LearningRx in Highlands Ranch. How's it going, guys?
Very well.
Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for coming on.
I have to say, I love having Willie Nelson in our studio.
It's awesome.
That was such a moment. That was the moment we need cameras on. Just to say, now, are you related to the other Willie Nelson?
Yeah, Uncle Willie. Oh, yeah, no. It's
Awesome. Love it. I mean,
it's legit.
I saw the picture of you sporting the red bandana. So, I mean, pretty cool.
I gotta say, he does have a good voice and a radio voice, too.
It is.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
And I really like it. We just need to put like a cowboy hat on, some longer hair, throw a guitar on him, and see what you can do. Can you play guitar?
For you, anything.
All right, I like it.
Oh, wow.
do
Just
it.
up the ante. For those that are listening on the audio app, know you can find LearningRx online, learningrx.com/Highlands-Ranch, or you can call Kathi and all of her amazing people at her studio at 303-955-2959. And again, we'll do a deeper dive into what LearningRx all is. And she's based in Highlands Ranch. The address is 9090 Ridgeline Boulevard, number 206 in Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
And it's definitely not the first time we've had Kathi in here. LearningRx often talks about targeting core cognitive skills like memory, attention, processing speed. Kathi, we've talked a lot of times when you've been on the program, just the range of ages that it helps people out. And I really like this interview because this is the first time we have had somebody in the school, high school setting that has benefited from this. But how do these skills really show up in school and, life later on? I mean,
So when there are certain cognitive skills that we know when they're below the 50th percentile, people will struggle. People will struggle in school, they'll struggle at work, they'll struggle in life. Most times when I have individuals who come in just doing the brain skill assessment, I can kind of already start telling parents or an individual, here's where I think your scores are going to be strong, and here's where I think we're going to have some challenges. And we always want to wait for the final results. Once we get those final results, then we can determine, do they need, a 12-week program? Do they need a 12-month program? Longer programs are usually designed for people who've had traumatic brain injuries or stroke or possibly in early stages of dementia. Most young kids need about a 6-month program. That's our average program, which is what Jack completed, was 6 months. And so when parents come in and bring a child, I'm usually hearing that they're not paying attention in class, or they're getting a lot of missing assignments, or they hate school. They're D's and F's. When I sit down, and I always want to hear the child's perspective, because I went through this with my own daughter and she hated school. And so I'll usually say, well, tell me what's going on, and it's usually some things that are similar. They're so frustrated. They want to do better. I even tell parents and I probably had this conversation in Jack's situation, was that Jack's not being defiant. Jack's not being lazy. The brain literally is not processing what he hears, and whatever it is processing, he's not remembering. His auditory processing, his auditory memory, his short-term memory is low. So when you tell him, Jack, take out the trash, feed the dog, and clean your room, all he heard was take out the trash. Mm-hmm. And then there's this argument that ensues between parents and child of like, I did tell you this. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Well, the parent did say it, but the brain never heard it or retained it. And so this is where the battle starts.
Nice, of course. Yeah. How did you all originally connect with each other?
I was fortunate enough to be in a networking group with Kathi, BNI, Quantum Business Builders. I was a member there for 3 years, and it was great. And I was excited when she started. This was something that had been on my radar a little bit, and then I just sat back and listened and watched and waited, and then had people I knew and trusted who went through the program and just raved about it. Yeah. And then the next trigger was waiting for my wife to get fed up enough to be willing to do anything to move the needle. And then I said, okay, it's time. Right. Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, explain if you would, if it's okay. And you're in my next hot seat. Just it's no, totally good. I mean, what was going on beforehand? Because I know, Kathi, you're so eloquent and go over all these different things, but what were you noticing? Because Jack was in 8th grade when you went through. So what was kind of leading up to it? Did you see kind of some stuff that was dropping? Tell me the situation.
Do you want to go?
I'll get both of your perspectives.
It's kind of a blur. Just say what you remember.
8th grade.
What do you remember about 8th grade? Not much.
Were you enjoying?
You hated the uniform.
Oh yeah, the uniform.
Yeah. Was school difficult? Did it seem easy for you?
It was just not I think I agree with every kid that it's not my favorite, but I feel like it was just exponentially harder than what I usually felt like, because I was I'm remembering less and less. I don't think that's good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
In school, were you always somebody? Did you like looking at the books, the textbooks? Were you paying attention to the teacher more in class, trying to listen? What was it before?
Before, I think I was trying to pay attention to the teacher more, because of I knew if I didn't pay attention to them, then I wouldn't hear the information that they were giving out, and then I'd be I'm screwed.
That was kind of like me, where it's even if you don't listen for a minute, now it's just all right, I have no idea where we are, so I might as well just.
Yeah. And every teacher he ever had absolutely loved him. Hard worker, well-intentioned, got along with everybody, and and was attentive and paying attention, but there was just the disconnect between he could recite back in the moment, right after the assignment was given, some of the next steps, things he needed to do. So the teacher's like, okay, he's got it. Mm-hmm. And by the time he got home,
right,
it was gone.
Well, homework. I don't have homework. We're good to go. Right. So that's where some of the main first triggers for my wife were missing assignments, and then the process of following up on that and managing it, executive function across, getting all the details turned in, and working with the teachers. And the acorn has not fallen very far from the tree with some ADHD and some dyslexia as well. Runs in our family. And so, and medicine helped. I started with some focused medicine and that improved things, but it still wasn't
Good.
It still wasn't enough.
Okay.
It was kind of like a Band-Aid on the thing. It wasn't curing the actual
Exactly.
issue.
For sure. To not have skills to back it up. And Jack, just to let you know, I go through this too, for sure. I always feel like I have a bucket, and sometimes it's already full with how much I can handle by 9 a.m., and the rest just starts to pour out.
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't retain anything else. So, I mean, what you're going through is totally common. It happens to every age on planet Earth. And it's so interesting that you say, well, I can listen to the teacher versus reading it.
Yeah.
And I was the same. I was like, I need a video or a movie. I mean, you put Ferris Bueller's Day Off in front of me, I will recite every line. But you tell me, what did I just read? And I would have no idea. So super common. And I love that you were able to work with such a professional. And she was bragging on you the moment you walked in the door. So I can tell that she loved you right away, which is amazing.
Yes.
So you started in 8th grade then. Do you remember the beginning when you first kind of walked in? What was that experience for you? Excited? Were you mad? Were you
not happy.
For the brain,
not happy?
Not
for the
happy.
brain skill
Okay.
assessment.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
first time you
yeah.
came in for the brain skill assessment, do you
Very-
remember what happened?
I have like broken parts of it. It's like, actually, no, I don't.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jack did not want to do the assessment.
No.
It took his dad and I a hot second to sit and talk with him about it and help him understand it. And he was just adamant he wasn't going to do it. And then he finally agreed. Well, Dad finally said,
You're gonna do
it's
this.
happening.
Yeah, you're gonna do
We're
this
not
and you're gonna
leaving.
like
It's
it.
happening.
Okay.
So he reluctantly agreed to do it.
Yeah.
And we put him through some brain training exercises. And then the first day he came back to the training, his first training, similar experience. He was just not having it, and I don't want to do this, and this isn't going to work. And it took a little bit of time, but in a very short amount of time, he was. There were times Jack would walk in the center, and I'm like, "Where's your mom and dad?" And mom or dad would tell me they'd barely pull into the parking lot, and he was out the door and into before the cars even had to stop. He was out the door and into the center, or he'd be at home saying, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." Like he was initiating it. He was excited to be there. And then about halfway through the program, he chose to do 90-minute sessions 3 times a week to get done before school started his freshman year. And so it didn't take long for him to be all in because he started noticing that he was passing levels. And then he started noticing little changes within school. And then all of a sudden, something clicked for him and ignited a fire underneath him that I think we were all so amazed with. And he just excelled in this program.
That's amazing.
Do you remember, was there like a type of learning or exercise or something that just really got you into it, starting to like this program and want to do it? Like, or did it just kind of, flow gradually? I didn't know if there was a point.
I think it was the tossing the ball back and forth. That was like,
To the
oh,
metronome.
that's kind of fun, yeah. But I think it was gradually like I was like, okay, maybe it's not so bad. Like,
Yeah. It can actually be really fun. Once things click, and I totally get it. I'll use my lovely 7-year-old. Great at math, and reading's a little hard. I'm like, but once it clicks, it's so much fun, and learning can be really fun. That's really cool. So this is a ball that bounces back and forth?
yeah, to the metronome.
So we have kind of it's like a beanbag ball. We call it the brainy ball.
Okay.
And it's about the size of a tennis ball maybe. But I have students literally, this is probably not, but I mean, they have to do this to a metronome. And
Okay.
some things they're doing every beat, some things they're doing every other beat, some things they're doing every third beat. Some things like he has to toss the ball every beat, but then he has to give me the directions of arrows every other beat, so he's having to do multiple things at the same time. I think the other thing that I saw in Jack, what really incentivized him is students get to see that they passed levels, so they get to see, and we have a ribbon and then a bronze, a silver, gold. And about halfway through the program, he wanted to know what it took to pass the gold. He wanted the gold. He was going to go at it. And I think there was one day when we were 90-minute session and we were done, and he's like, can we just do 10 more minutes? I was like, yes, absolutely. So I always love when students are asking me to do more, because he was so close to passing this gold level and he wanted to pass it before he left that day. And so when you can see that and you can see the progress you're making in the program, it really pushes students to say, I want this, I want this, I want this. I want to get past the struggle and I want to do this. And there were a lot of high fives and dancing and, celebration, because you really pushed yourself hard to pass as many levels as possible.
And all of these were in session with you, correct? Face to face?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
3 times a week, all with me, face to face. We started at 60 minutes 3 times a week. And then about halfway through, he made the decision to do 90 minutes 3 times a week to be done before school. And he was dedicated and he was focused, and he just, like I said, he just excelled in this program.
That's wonderful. I want to make sure for those that are listening and watching, I love that you have different options with the program. You can do everything in person, which is great if that's the way that, if you have time and that fits into your schedule, but you can also do a hybrid. You can do some online, you can do some at home. I'm trying so hard to get my kiddo in there. I know I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you about this weekend and see what your schedule is. So just know that that's coming.
You seem to think I know my schedule.
There's your heads up. I know, I really do too. So you have lots of options, which is great. But I love that you got to go in and really experience it. I'm more like you. I'm like, I want to see you in person. I want to touch, feel, see, read everything in front of me. I want to turn it over to you, Dad. What did you see on the different improvement levels? Now, this can be grades, confidence, anything like,
So, well, and even going back to that the first session was memorable for me because I told him I didn't care, that he didn't want to do it. And I got into the room with him and Kathy, and then I turned around and walked out so that Jack was just there with Kathy. So then he couldn't just sit and stare at me. But I knew that, because I know Kathy, that she would be able to engage him, and really,
which I'm glad you did.
Yeah. And then by about the 3rd session, he's like, I think I want to do this.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And the thing that stood out and just blew me away the most was, and I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional, that like my cute little boy who got, so many unintentionally, but negative messages through school that he couldn't, and that he wasn't measuring up, that he wasn't excelling. All of that got stripped away, and he worked super hard, and just layered success on top of success, and his confidence shot up, and he started talking more. And it went from being a moody teen to a bigger version of my happy little boy was back.
He would crack jokes. There was one day that he came in and I was so off. I was like, I was just like, oh my God. He looked at me and he goes, what is wrong with you? I go, I haven't had my caffeine, Jack. Okay, I'm so sorry. I haven't had my caffeine. And then a couple weeks later, kind of the same thing. He goes, "Did you not have your caffeine this morning?"
Yeah,
I'm
you were like, I think it was like you forgot yourself. I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, I didn't have my caffeine." And then like a couple weeks later, I was like, "Did you have your caffeine yet?"
He just started cracking jokes, and he was bantering with me, and he would do the funniest things to make me laugh and smile. And if I ever saw a student who just became a complete opposite, it was him. I can't even put into words the difference we saw in his confidence. This is a child who walked in thinking, I'm never going to go to college, or I'm never going to get beyond this, to a child who, by the time he graduated, thought he could conquer the world and do anything he set his mind to.
How does this sit with you? How does this make you feel to watch? I mean, like, I got emotional. Because this is what every parent wants for their kid. Does that sink into you, that how impactful this has been?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I could tell before, like the first few weeks, and then like definitely like after those few weeks, I was like, okay, like I'm starting to see like changes. Like I was, like what he said, like I'm more talkative, more confident, like more, just more.
Yeah. And now you're no, that's awesome. I can tell you're a confident kiddo. Sorry, you're under 21, so you're a kiddo to me.
No, I like I
We're
said, I don't
talking
mind.
about you lifting. You're doing like Olympic
weightlifting.
What are they called again?
The
The lift, the
Clean and
yeah,
jerk
clean and jerk snatch.
and the snatch.
Yep.
Yep. And then you get a total. So that's where that third one might be that you were thinking of.
Oh, could be. But Olympic weightlifting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's no way I could do that. Do you know how cool that is? I'm so impressed that
Not without that attitude though, but
I like it. Thank you, Jack. I needed to hear that. Not with that attitude. Go do it. You can do this. There you go. That's amazing. Well, I have your cognitive skills profile. I assume you've seen this, right?
Yep.
For that lots of times. This is to be really proud of. I mean, this is amazing. So for those that maybe can't see it, we can maybe
Oh yeah, I
put
can
it
hold
up.
it up.
Flash myself
I'll have to.
everyone.
So there are different skills. So from the assessment that people go in, so you have day 1 to your final day, and you were in it for 6 months.
6
Correct.
months, yep.
Okay. And so for those that are also listening, I'll tell you what these are that we've measured them. Kathy measured them. Working memory, auditory memory, visual processing, logic and reasoning, processing speed, auditory processing, word attack, so cool, and attention composite. I'll pretend like I know what any of that is. But I mean, so, and we talked about this a little bit. This to me is amazing. So auditory processing was, do you remember what that was at in the beginning, roughly? Ish, ballpark. What's your guess? with some loving help. So,
I don't
You were a 2.
yes,
you
you're
were
at a 2. You ended at a 99. That's insane.
It's amazing to me. And Kathy, you said that this is a very common
Auditory
one.
auditory processing, auditory memory, which will then pull down short-term memory or working memory. Those, I see those more than I see anything else at all ages. Now I have some people who come in and their auditory processing is still pretty good. There it's a 50 percentile higher, but it's incredibly rare. And as we age, those are the 3 cognitive skills we look at put people at high risk for dementia.
Yeah.
And so we just had a 14-year-old student who finished the program who was actually diagnosed by an audiologist with auditory processing disorder. And most times they'll be, people will be told there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm like, oh, that's absolutely not true. We can absolutely strengthen auditory processing. But when someone is low in auditory processing, they, in a crowded room, such as a classroom, they can't hear the message. It gets muffled and it gets lost. It doesn't matter how much they're trying to pay attention. The message just gets, the brain can't process it. The brain can't take it and then it can't retain it either. And so, yes, in the moment, Jack may have been able to repeat something, but let half an hour go by and it's gone. And that's where we see kids who end up with missing assignments and D's and F's and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, those are the 3. And then attention is all over the place for different individuals, and processing speeds all over the place, logic and reasoning. Visual processing and visual memory typically are stronger for most individuals than auditory processing or auditory memory.
Okay. This is pretty amazing. I mean, I know you've seen this, but this is pretty incredible. I mean, everything has shot up. You improved significantly.
So there's one area where you'll see the purple went down, but what I always show people the raw score, and he actually got the same raw score. It's just that he went up in a year and birthday. He went from 13 to 14. So the percentage shows it went down, but it actually didn't. He actually had the exact same raw score, and I think it was above his grade level, or he was right at grade level. So those aren't as concerning, but the others that he had on there he had significant, and I mean significant improvement.
Yeah, this is incredible. For all those that are listening, and I throw myself into this bucket, I mean, if you have a kiddo at any age, pre-K through till you're done of school, through college, but high school probably, you are not alone. I'll put it that way. It is very hard to have 16 kids. Again, I always use myself as an example. With a teacher trying to teach 16 kiddos, it's very, very challenging. Everyone's going to learn differently. And so I hear it all the time that, oh, my kiddo's falling behind in this, or they don't get enough one-on-one, or my kiddo doesn't learn this way, but the teacher can't adapt and have that time. There is a solution out there, and this is it. It really is. And it's not only, yes, grades, but the confidence. I mean, that was really emotional.
Priceless.
I got teary-eyed to watch that. You watch your kid become the kid that you've always had, right? And I am so sorry if that anything happened before, because like you said, you can do it. You even called me out on that. Not with that attitude. That's amazing. I love that. That's exactly where it should be. You can do anything you set your mind to. And I love that it created such a confident, amazing young gentleman over there. Won't call you kiddo anymore. You just put me in my spot, which I so appreciate. That is amazing.
Classic Jack. Well, and it showed up in, I mean, so freshman year of high school, like missing assignments has been significantly improved. Grades are improved. And even in times like after breaks where we come back or when he got
Like
sick.
still adjusting back to school.
Yeah, you know, get off track, but then course correct. Like it's been a whole different ballgame.
Definitely better than 8th grade, I will say that. I still don't like school though.
Jack, feel free to take your time answering this. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, in your words, what did all of this change? Were you able to pay attention more? Were you able to process better? What all changed once you hit freshman year after doing all of this?
I definitely noticed like my first class like in 8th grade was math, and my first class last semester, we're gonna say it was math. It technically wasn't, but it was also math, and I definitely noticed that I was able to just like go boom 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 to like every single math question and not be like, what's a math problem, like all the way back in 8th grade. I was like, okay, wow.
So you just understood it better.
Yeah, I understood it better. I was able to recall information from
The lessons.
the lessons and use them. Like I think I even told Mom like on the first day I was like, when can I say thank you to Kathy? when
And mom and dad.
and Mom and Dad. Mostly Kathy.
Because they made you do it.
Well, and I love that too. I love when Will said, I just, he didn't want to go. And I said, oh, yeah, I don't care. And left, because that's what we call old school parenting, which is great. That's what my dad would do. Will, I mean, this is a lot more than just school too. Because going through LearningRx, it's really training your brain for all the skills, not only school, but outside of life. What have you noticed in Jack outside of school that has just improved?
Yeah. So, I mean, even attitude at home, happiness. He was just a happier, more communicative kid. And, like we talked about early on, where it's like, take the garbage out, walk the dog, and do the other thing. And he would get all those things done. And he's, more than once, I've been asked him if he could teach his big sisters how to do that.
Kathy band.
Yeah, I know. Let's sign him up. And so it's just been awesome.
Right. Nice. I had another one. I forgot it.
That's okay.
We know somebody
We can
for
bring
that.
you
I
in
do.
too.
I do.
I know
Exactly. No, and Kathy, we even talked earlier is you talk about the happiness, Will, and kind of the joy. And we talked the last time that you came in that being able to process, being able to see things clearer, hear things clearer, it does bring down that stress level, which in turn brings up happiness level. So do you see a lot of kids, I know you do this with adults and everything too, but primarily with kids, do you see the happiness levels go up after going through this?
Yeah, we have different banners in our center with different words like courage and confidence and attitude and just different things. Pride is another one. And so the word that most, when we talk at graduation, we ask them, what do you think you improved on the most? And confidence gets chosen more often than not. I had one little boy at 7 who he said, I think my attitude got better. And he goes, right, Mom? And Mom's like, oh, yes, you did. And so we do see changes in different students, from a student who we wouldn't even look us in the eye. I mean, you couldn't even hear her talk when she first started. And she was in a 9-month program. But by the time she graduated, she was bouncing off the walls, and she had just this glow about her. And Jack was the same way. When he first came in, he was very closed off, and I will never forget this moment, because he had his legs crossed and he had his arms, and he wouldn't look at me. He wouldn't look at Will. He would just, I'm not having it, And to have a child at the time of grad, to have him walk in the center and just be bouncing in the center and ready to go. And he couldn't believe 90 minutes was already up, and he was wanting to push himself harder. And when he graduated, I mean, I think we were all in tears, because he had just changed so much. So yes, we see kids all the time because I think when we're struggling in school, what we do is we hear a lot of the negative messages. We hear teachers saying, you're not trying hard enough. You hear parents saying, you need to apply yourself. You just need to be organized. Right. We constantly, I think that even as a child, they beat themselves up and we start telling ourselves, I can't do this. I'm a failure. I'll never make it. I don't want to go to college. I'll never be successful. And we start to believe those words. Right. And so when people walk in the doors for the first time, they're pretty beat up. They're truly, and it's because they've heard so many negative messages from everybody around them, and no one's trying to hurt them. Everybody has the best of intentions. And as a parent, because I've been there with a child, I bought her a different organizing book every year, thinking that would make the difference. I'd sit down with her and highlight things, and the amount of stuff that I tried as a parent, and then as a parent, you start to feel like, oh my God, I'm failing. I'm failing my child. And it just becomes this really negative domino effect. Right. So when we can step in and we can start making a difference, it doesn't just make a difference in one life. It doesn't make just a difference in Jack's life. And at school, all of a sudden, teachers start noticing, friends start noticing, parents start noticing, and we put them into a world really where, every time Jack came in, very rarely did you get a negative message from me. Right. Other than your brain lump. And where are we at with that? I don't like the but we would sit and talk about things. And if he wasn't getting it, we'd say, okay, we're going to slow it down until he did get it. And then he'd push himself even harder. Mm-hmm. So, yes, you fail a lot in this program. You fail forward. And, we just keep pushing kids forward, individuals forward. So they might not get something, but then we help them create the right foundation for them to get it, to move on to the next challenge. And when we up the challenge, now you're going to fail a lot. But then you keep going and you're failing forward and you keep moving. And Jack could see the progress that he was making on all of his different exercises that he was doing.
You're getting me to think about how I parent. And
I'm sorry.
No, it's true. No, it's all good things. Because as a parent, I push as hard as I can, and I need to have more patience. And I say it all the time, because it's like, why don't you know this and you know it now? I'm curious, when you have a younger person, you're not going to be a kiddo anymore. You're going to be a young gentleman to me.
Wow, look at that.
I know. Now that all it took was, have your difference in attitude.
I'll just call you Jack. How's that?
Yeah, Jack. Sounds great. That works too. Do you also talk to family members as well?
Yeah. I would talk every time Will and Maegan would come in, we'd sit and talk about things. One of the things that this is not part of the LearningRx program, but I really instilled in Jack is positive affirmations. He actually got extra points if he would recite positive affirmations.
Really hard to do that.
Yeah, it's hard to do it, but our subconscious doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction, and it'll believe whatever we tell it, right? Yep. And so it's why people who are in abusive relationships stay there, because they're told over and over, right? You'll never make it. You're not smart. No one's going to want you, blah, 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 all the things that happen. Well, when people are struggling, whether that's in school and work or in life, we start hearing more of the negative than we hear the positive. So we focused a lot on positive affirmations. We focused a lot on, Jack was a rock star. Like, I mean, and I actually said, when we would talk to mom and dad after a session, and I go, and he did this, and he did this, and he beat his time, and he did this. And I go, and why is that?
Because I was a rock star.
You are a rock star. Right. Yeah. And so I wanted him to say it because I wanted him to believe it, you know? And when he believed it, he could push himself further than anybody else ever could. And he did, you know? And so, yeah, we talked a lot. And I talked a lot to Will and Maegan about, you know, these are the things that he can be doing at home. And these are the things that, you know, you can ask him and push him a little bit. And he did.
Well, and that has persisted when you ask the question, but, you know, what things have changed that is definitely stuck around. And it's the breaking things down. Like, how can I get to gold level, even if it's just in science class, you know, and deconstructing it. And, you know, I see him working on that all the time. And every time he, you know, for him to hear him say that I'm a rock star and know, like, that he believes it, like, it was a priceless moment.
He said the words in the beginning, but then he began to believe it. And then he started saying it with gusto, right? And then he came out every exercise with gusto too.
That's awesome.
You said, Kathi, you said a lot in the times that we've talked that LearningRx is not tutoring. And I kind of want to touch on that because it was great that you did this 6 months, but Jack, your main thing was to finish this before school started. So you weren't doing schoolwork. This isn't a tutoring type agency, right? So Jack, what activities made it feel not like schoolwork? What were you doing that was just kind of helping your cognition? And then Will, at home, what are the different types of activities where Kathy's like, you can do this at home, you can do this at home, to really just try to strengthen those principles?
What was your favorite exercise and what was your least favorite exercise?
I think it was what was it? It was like the number lines, and you had to
the number columns.
Yeah, the number columns. I like those a lot. My least.
So these number columns, we start with, they have to add 2. There's like 10 numbers in a column, and they have to add 2 to every number, all the way up to adding 9. And you have to do it in 10 seconds or less. Or you have to do it to a metronome beat. And then you have to start doing 2 columns back and forth. And then there's one where you start at the top of one column and the bottom of another, and you go like this.
And you can do all of this?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you are a rock star.
He did. That was, and so that was called the number. It's called attention compute, but it's the number columns. And he got very good at it. But we go through addition, subtraction, multiplication. And so he got very good at that.
Nice. Okay, so you enjoyed the number column.
Yeah, I can't remember what my least favorite was. Do you remember what it was? Like,
probably the memory hold. So there's one exercise.
Okay. All I remember.
So nobody likes this exercise.
Okay.
There's 2 exercises nobody likes. I love them, but nobody likes them. But one of them is spelling words forwards and backwards and put them in alphabetical order. And we start with 4-letter words and go up to 12-letter words. And so, and then, and the other one is, I will give somebody 2 numbers, they add them. I'll give them another number, and they have to add it to the last number I gave them, not the answer they gave me. So they have to remember the last number. And we'll go through like 20 numbers. And then we get to subtraction and then multiplication, and then we start going all over. It's one maybe addition, the next one's multiplication, the next one's subtraction, the next one's multiplication, the next one's addition.
Do you have the kid and the adult ever do this simultaneously?
No.
Yeah, I'm like, I would be like,
we get through as many levels as we can, and even in 6 months, he didn't get through it. We have over 1,000 exercises. He barely scratched the surface of the exercises we could have done, but he got through a lot. He pushed himself because he wanted to get through as many exercises as he possibly could in the program. So Jack really put in the work, and he really did a lot.
Awesome.
And you worked with him a lot at home as well. There was a lot of stuff that you could do at home outside of it. Yeah.
But where we started was helping him like recover, because like there were so many car rides home because I mean, train in Highlands Ranch, we live in Castle Rock. He would be asleep and sleep even on the car ride home.
It's just like,
and so, you know, when he was fully engaged, then we'd let him, between that and lifting weights, like we are still, I think we still have access to the
Brain lab.
brain lab. But
Nobody
right now
likes the brain
we're
lab.
focusing on driver's ed, and so we're not. But driver's ed is going pretty well, and he's like, I already know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
So
You use a
had
lot
to
of cognitive skills in driving.
Oh, yeah.
right, all decision making
Attention,
and attention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
logic and reasoning.
What are you enjoying about driver's ed? Besides the obvious, you get to drive here in the future.
Besides that, kind of nothing.
Okay.
It's just that, like, it's very direct, which I'm like, yeah, I like when people are and things are direct, but it's also like, you got this wrong, do it again. I'm like, okay, but
Well,
like,
it's like being back in training.
yeah,
you know?
almost, but like instead of just being like, yeah, you got this, like, try it again, you got this. It's like, do this again, like, you got this wrong, and then it'll, like, start you over. Like, I was at one of the questions, it was like what's this say? Like, what's this sign? I'm like, oh, that's the hospital one. And then it was like, one of them was like, what's this turn one? It's like the sharp turn, and I put in the wrong one. It's like, okay, so start at 0 again. I'm like,
It's pretty direct.
Yeah.
Right.
all right,
No candy coating.
Yeah, no. Which
Well,
I'm glad they don't,
yeah.
but I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is kind of hammering it over and over and over to try and, obviously retain.
Yeah.
Especially when you're driving. There's a lot of distractions out there. So it's good to know it right off the top of your head. That's cool. Well, you're a freshman. This is a whole new world for you to be in high school. But what are the biggest wows, if I can ask it, or your favorite parts of your freshman year?
there's a lot. I think it's just, how do I just say that? Like, I think it's the ability to just do instead of being like, you have this amount of time, do this, like, you only have an hour, so like get this all done in this hour. But so they give I think they give a lot more time, which I'm like, I like that, thank you.
Good.
There's one time, it was like the first week, sorry, like one of the teachers was like, how you liking the like long classes? Like, I've been through way worse. And I was like, I love you,
I've had
Kathy,
90
but
minutes of Kathy.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
can do anything now.
I was like, this is easy for me.
If anything, it makes it easy. So,
Yeah, it's like
whether
these-
you're in high school or an adult, it's just like, hey, after 90 minutes with Kathy, life is simple.
Yeah.
And it's funny how, Tim, you said, I mean, he was just exhausted after it. So, Jack, I mean, this class with LearningRx, I mean, this is mentally exhausting, right? So 90 minutes after it, you just feel, I mean,
Completely drained.
completely
Brain
drained. That's a good way to put it.
Human
got some
racism.
Chick-fil-A and he crashed right after that.
Yes.
You're speaking her language right
Yeah,
now. Chick-fil-A.
for sure.
Yeah.
What's your favorite subject right now as a freshman?
Math. I like math a lot.
Math? What math are you in?
Math. Algebra 1.
Okay,
So,
cool.
and
Great.
I like the teacher a lot. She's funny.
That's great.
And before you really didn't, it was said earlier that you didn't really think about college or anything like that. You didn't even really care to think about college or anything. Now you actually kind of enjoy school. Have you thought about not only college, but maybe what you'd like to go into type stuff? I mean, are you excited about the possibility of college coming up?
Yeah, I am excited, but like, I have thought about, like, I was like, what if I want to be what my mom does? What if I want to be like what my dad does? But I'm also like, what do I want to do? Which is scary to think about, but I think, yeah, just right now I'm like, I want to get through high school and not fail.
Well, you're off to a great start. Sounds like you're confident. You're loving math. I mean, if this is anything like your life, that's pretty amazing. That's what I always kind of look at is what trajectory are we on? And you're definitely going the right way. I love this. I always say this can be for any age, 6 years old, 100 years old. We all need help in the brain department. I love putting myself on the gauntlet because it's so true. I need massive help every day of my life. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, you have the right last name. That is for sure.
She
It is.
does.
It's miraculous to watch a
Well,
dad be in tears about what you have done to help this family.
I watched Will talk about it every now and then, and it's really. There are times I can't even look at him when he's talking, and I listen, but I'm gonna go into tears too because when you see an individual, especially a kid who walks in the door, and they feel so beat up, and you know that there's so much potential inside of them, and you just think, if I could just unlock this one thing, if I could just show them the potential they have. And by the time we get to graduation, like I said, we're celebrating so much progress that they make. I get so excited when I get to see those final results, and I get to see them before anybody else does. And I think I even had run into Will at the networking meeting. And I was like almost bouncing off the wall, like, when do you see these? And we try really hard to, sometimes it schedules out a couple of weeks because we want the student to invite whoever they want to the graduation, and he wanted his whole family there. And, so it's when you see individuals walk in first and they just won't make eye contact, or you barely hear them talk because there's just the confidence isn't there. And you just know, because as a parent, I watched my daughter go through this, and I've watched so many other students walk in those first days. And I think, if you just wait till you see yourself in 6 weeks, wait till you see yourself in 12 weeks, wait till you see yourself by the time you get to finish with this program. And we talk about that throughout the program, all these little, because we help them celebrate the little successes. So when they hit a gold level, or, we're doing a lot of high fives. And when I'm watching Jack struggle, and I'm like, you can do this. Okay, we'll just take a big deep breath, shake it off. Let's just do it again. I mean, he's having PTSD right now. Like, oh my God, that's exactly what it was like. And so we go through it. And then all of a sudden he passes it. And the look on his face was like, did I just do that? I'm like, you just did it, dude. Now do it 2 more times.
Yeah,
it's like, wait a minute.
So happy, and just like, now do it.
Now do it again. 2 more times.
Like,
you got this. And then he would do it, and he'd knock it out of the park. And the look on the face of a student when they've hit that milestone, and they're just like, oh my God, it's like almost a whole new world starts opening up for them. And it's truly priceless. I mean, I can't even describe a lot of the stuff that I see in students. And Jack is by far, one of my absolute favorite. I asked Will about him all the time, like, how's he doing? How's it going? And everyone, we've met up for dinner, and we have a donut date on the calendar that we need to get on. But
I asked
it's great
first. I was like, when can we see Kathi again? I miss her.
Yeah, so it's just amazing the transformation we get to see, and even, I've talked to students about, a butterfly doesn't become a butterfly without struggle, right? If you actually look at the caterpillar and the cocoon and breaking out of the cocoon and what a butterfly has to do to have that kind of beauty, it's definitely a transformation for students.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
awesome to see it.
One last question for you, Will, and pay attention, Jack, because I'm going to kind of throw this at you too. Will, thinking about everything before LearningRx and after when it comes to Jack, what would you say to a parent listening who is kind of thinking about doing this on the fence, why they should?
Why they should? I would say, there were so many things that we tried. New planners. We did tutoring for 3 years prior, at least once a week, and everything just kind of stayed on the same slow, steady downward trajectory. And, when, I don't know, don't wait till you hit that point of desperation. Give it a try sooner.
Yeah.
All right. And Jack, if there was a kid saying, my parents are asking if I want to try this, should I do it? I mean, what would you say to a kid?
I just say, yes, do it. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Just give it a chance, because I'm very stubborn, like that one, where I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm good in my comfortable zone. So, yeah, just
Take a leap of faith.
yeah.
Try it. It's very good advice. I love it. Well, of course, as you can hear from the testimonials, it's wonderful for, of course, kids of all ages. Also great for any age. I just really want to hit home with that. And any cognitive skill that, I mean, if you're in a partnership with someone and you keep saying, "What? You didn't say that?" Been there many times in my life. This can greatly help. How are you retaining information? How is work life going? Are you stressing out about things? Is like home life stressful for whatever reason? This is such a great assessment. Start there. And to use Jack's amazing words, just try it. It is a leap of faith. And, you know, dementia and Alzheimer's is definitely a thing. It's very common. And I think doing cognitive skills, you can speak much more intelligently about this, but you start it before it becomes a problem.
Yeah, dementia is the second most feared diagnosis in the world. Okay, if we just looked at there's over 400 types of dementia. Alzheimer's is the most common form.
400?
Yes.
I didn't know
And the youngest person, so of 400, about 8 of those are pediatric. And so the youngest person worldwide to have ever been diagnosed with a form of dementia was 2 years old in Louisiana in March of 2024. And so there are about 700,000 individuals under the age of 18 that live with a dementia diagnosis. And so, yeah, most people
Wow, I
think that
didn't
it's
know that.
only for older people.
Yeah.
But we now know, science shows us now that we can identify changes in the brain up to 20 years prior to a diagnosis. So there is lots of time to be able to implement a lifestyle, which there are 7 components to protecting and maintaining cognitive health. Brain training or cognitive exercises, and it's one of those.
Wow, that's amazing.
No one thing will protect cognitive health. So we do a lot of education around nutrition and hydration, and kids love when I tell family, parents, like the sugary stuff should, especially around Halloween, please don't tell my parents I can't have candy. Well, you can't. You can have one here and there. You just can't have it every day. So there's a lot of things I try to educate families on in those 7 pieces, so that when they do leave LearningRx, they're implementing a lot of the healthier lifestyle things, not just for their child, but for themselves too, because by implementing these 7 things and doing them consistently, research has shown that people can avoid a dementia diagnosis. We can delay the progression of dementia without the use of medication. And in certain cases, we can reverse cognitive decline. And the awesome thing is it's their doctor telling them about, not just me. I mean, it's their doctor telling them they're getting better on cognitive assessments in their doctor's office.
Wow. Well, you learn something new every day. I had no
Exactly.
idea about that. Be proactive, people.
Definitely do it. And yeah, you hear LearningRx, you think tutoring, schoolwork, stuff like that. It is the exact opposite. I mean, it's for everybody of all ages, just making your mind work better. And a comment that Jacob, our producer, alerted me to, someone commented, minds are like parachutes. They will work when they are open. Kind of like that.
Oh, I do like that.
It's a pretty good quote right there. So check it out for all of our audio people. 303-955-2959. You can go to learningrx.com/Highlands-Ranch. Kathi Miracle performs miracles for your mind right there. So, especially with Will and Jack Nelson right here. And I wish you the best, Jack. And you're gonna have one heck of a high school run, and I'm excited.
Yeah, keep that positive attitude. And I appreciate you saying that to me. I needed to hear that. It's so true. I hope
He's so
you can-
quick-witted.
I know.
I know.
Well, all these cognitive skills have really paid off.
Yeah, I got the
Yes.
benefit of that too.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. I like being put in my place every once in a while.
That's right. Exactly.
Thank you guys, truly. Thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
on,
much.
for both of you.
We really appreciate it. If you did just kind of catch the end of this, do know that this whole interview is going to be on the K4CO Radio social media platforms for at least a month. So check it out. If you know somebody, or if you have a grandkid or something like that, and just send it over to somebody, share it with somebody, because it's more than just schoolwork and learning and everything. It's really just how you think about life. I don't know, cognition in life. So makes work a lot easier. We've had a lot of guests on talking about that. We've had athletes on, and now we have Jack who's starting high school. So check it out. LearningRx.com/Highlands-Ranch. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up in about a half hour, every single day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 1 solid hour of only Colorado artists in the K4CO radio rotation. The rest of the time, it's 1/3 of the rotation. And then, of course, an all-new kind of vague radio tonight from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. with Andrew Tallon and Rob Dixon. So thank you very much, everybody. Take care.